Issachar as a strong ass, meaning a strong donkey or a strong burro or burrico in Spanish. And they known for riding those donkeys, okay? They known for that, okay? Let me set this back up. Y'all bear with me, right? Right? And I read it again. This Genesis 49 and 14. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Okay? Verse 15. And he saw that the rest was good. What rest? The land. Okay? And also they have a day which is called siestas. They have a day which is called siesta after they eat, and they would take a nap, because that's what the word siestas mean, nap. And they would take a nap and rest, and you can't get them to work, okay? Verse 14, Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Verse 15, and he saw the rest was good in the land, that it was pleasant. Okay? The rest also means quiet too, when you look it up. And was pleasant. He saw the land was pleasant. So what does the word pleasant mean? Let's see. Let's look it up. I'm gonna just look it up real quick. It's Hebrews 52 and 76. Beautiful, lovely. So that's what the word pleasant means, beautiful and lovely, okay? He saw the land was beautiful and lovely, okay? And he bowed his shoulders to bear and became a servant unto tribute, okay? He bowed his shoulders, right? Meaning he spread across the land. Okay, when you look it up, he spread across the land, right? And the Heavenly Father helped him spread across that land and build it up. So the Heavenly Father was with him, okay? The Heavenly Father was with him to do that. And then also, Jacob is telling him, look, Issachar, you're a strong ass, but you're gonna become a servant, okay? Future prophecy, you're gonna become a servant. Okay, this is what he telling Issachar. This is what he telling him, his son. He said, you're going to become a servant, even though you're a strong ass. But the Heavenly Father put the spirit on him to change his mind to be a servant first to the conquistadors when they came over here. Because when you go into the lost tribes, when you go into the documents, the historical records, the lost tribe in the Promised Land by Ronald Sanders, when you go into that book, you find out that when the conquistadors first came over here, they met Montezuma. And there was more than one Montezuma, and the conquistadors put the name on the kings of Issachar. They put that name Montezuma on them, okay? And when they first, one of the Montezuma kings, which was the Aztec king, met Cortez, he told him, when he came down and greeted him, he told him that in their records, okay, a long time ago, that they were not the indigenous people of this land, okay? He told them that they were not the indigenous people of that land, okay? And he said they came from where the sun rises, meaning from the east, okay? And then he was greeting Montezuma because they thought that he was the Lord coming back, because they had all that glittery armor and things of that nature. So he was greeting them. But later on in the history, you come to find out that that the people that was up under Montezuma, the Israelites, which was Issachar, which was the Aztecs, was under Montezuma, and they stoned him, and they was telling them, basically going against what he was believing in, that the conquistadors were the Lord. So they stoned him and put him to death. Okay, they stoned Montezuma and put him to death, and the conquistadors were pushed out of there, but they came back with reinforcements to lay Issachar flat. Okay, they came back to lay Issachar flat, but that was part of what was going to happen to Issachar, because Issachar had to be conquered by the conquistadors in order to become slaves. Okay, and to prove that they was not from here, okay, you got I'm gonna go into the Apocrypha, right, in Ezra. And by the way, Columbus, when you read in Lost Tribes of the Promised Land, right, when you read that, it tells you in there Columbus was reading the book of Ezra, okay, and he knew where he was going, okay, and it tells you in that movie 1492. If you ever get that movie 1492, he mentioned Ezra and the Apocrypha, right? And what I'm finna read out of is the Apocrypha. And Columbus had Hebrew interpreters on his ships, okay, because they were going to encounter Israelites who were speaking Hebrew. So he knew exactly where he was coming to, okay? But I'm finna prove, and oh yeah, you got a book by let me see let me see here. You got a book, The History of the American Indians by James Adair, and in that book it tells you that they didn't come through the Bering Straits. Okay, that was a propaganda or a lie set up by two Jesuits. Okay, two Jesuit priests. Okay, to push that vibration out there, the Bering Straits. Okay, that they came through the Bering Straits. But when you go into the records, the foundation of what Israel was doing in their history, you come to find out that they didn't go through the Bering Straits. And in that book, written by James Adair, it tells you in there, when he encountered Gad, that they came up through the south. They didn't come through the north, okay? This second Ezra, y'all bear with me. Second Ezra, 13 and 40. And let me load up some here. Because I wanna read some too. See if I still got it. Nah, I'm gonna have to go to it. Let's just load up real quick because I gotta go to it. Oh boy. All right. It's about Salmanazar the fifth and Sargon. That's what I'm looking for. So I can read a little bit. Y'all bear with me. I'm looking for it. All right, I found it. Read a little history about Sargon and right? Okay. All right, it says, after having been besieged 3 years by Salmanazar the fifth, king of Assyria, it was taken and doubtless devastated by Sargon, his son and successor, BC 722. Okay, who deported the 10 tribes of Israel and supplied their places with other settlers. So that's where you get the Colossian Jews at. When you read 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, right, you get the Colossian Jews, right, who was put in their land. The Ethiopians were put in their land, and over generation, they was teaching their kids, and that's where you get the fake foreign Colossian Jews at, okay? That's where you get them from. And they had to send a priest over in there to Jerusalem because they couldn't keep the custom. Okay, they didn't understand. They got a priest, a Levite priest, to teach them, but before then, the Heavenly Father sent lions up on them to destroy some of them. Not all of them, but to destroy some of them. Okay? So that's where you get some Colossian Jews at. They're not the real Jews. Okay? Now, I read this. Right? This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king whom Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and some came they into another land. They went into Assyria, and he planted some of them in the lands of the Medes. He put about 30,000 of them in the lands of the Medes. He planted some of them in the lands of the Medes. When you read 2 Kings, the 18th chapter, around the 10th verse, okay? Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathens and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Verse 42. That they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. Verse 43. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. So they went into the Euphrates and went upon the horns of Africa, right? Into those rough waters, okay? Into those rough currents, okay? Verse 44, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. So it took them a year and a half to get over here, okay? But when you go into the history about Solomon and Hiram, which was a seafarer, it took them 3 years. right? It took them a year and a half to get over here and a year and a half to get back. So that's records, okay? And verse 45, for through that country there was